The theater's grand chandelier cast a warm, golden glow across the velvet seats, but for Luiza, the light felt like a spotlight she hadn't auditioned for. At 26, she was used to slipping into the background, her quiet demeanor and sharp hazel eyes often overlooked in the bustle of her small American town. Tonight, though, something was different. She adjusted the collar of her beige trench coat, her fingers trembling slightly as she scanned the crowd. She wasn't here for the play, not really. She'd come because her friend had begged her to fill an empty seat, and now she sat rigid, her heart pounding for reasons she couldn't name. Across the aisle, Anna felt the same restless energy, though she wore it with a different grace. At 24, she was a whirlwind of confidence, her off-shoulder rust-colored dress catching the light as she shifted in her seat. Her dark curls framed a face that seemed to carry secrets, and her green eyes darted toward the stage with a mix of anticipation and distraction. She'd come to escape the weight of her family's expectations, the unspoken questions about why she hadn't settled down with a nice man. The theater was her refuge, a place where she could lose herself in stories that weren't her own. The play began, a tragic love story of two souls torn apart by circumstance, and as the actors' voices rose in anguished harmony, Luiza's gaze drifted. It landed on Anna, whose profile was illuminated by the stage lights. There was something magnetic about her. Maybe the way her lips curved into a faint, involuntary smile despite the sorrow on stage, or the way her hand rested lightly on her chest, as if to steady her breathing. Luiza's breath caught. She didn't know why, but she couldn't look away. Anna felt the stare before she saw it. Turning her head slightly, her eyes met Luiza's, and for a moment, the world shrank to just the two of them. The dialogue on stage faded into a hum, the audience's murmurs a distant echo. Anna's lips parted, a question forming, but she didn't voice it. Instead, she offered a small, curious smile. Luiza blushed and looked down, her fingers twisting the program in her lap. The connection broke, but the air between them crackled with something unspoken. Intermission came like a reprieve and a challenge. Luiza slipped into the lobby, needing air, her mind a tangle of nerves. She leaned against a marble pillar, the cool stone grounding her, when a voice broke through her thoughts. "You looked like you were miles away during that last scene." It was Anna, her tone teasing but warm, her eyes searching Luiza's face. Luiza stammered, I guess I was. The play's intense." Anna laughed softly, a sound that felt like sunlight breaking through clouds. "It is. I'm Anna, by the way." The introduction hung between them, an invitation. "Luiza," she replied, her voice steadier now. They talked about the play, the actors, the way the set design made the tragedy feel alive. But beneath the surface, there was more. Anna's hand brushed Luiza's as they reached for the same glass of water from a passing tray, and the touch lingered, electric. The second act resumed, but neither could focus. Luiza felt Anna's presence like a pull, and when the lights dimmed for the final scene, Anna leaned closer, whispering, "Meet me outside after?" Luiza nodded, her heart racing. The night air was crisp as they stepped onto the theater's stone steps. The crowd dispersed, but they stayed, the building's ornate facade looming behind them like a silent witness. Anna turned to Luiza, her expression soft but intense. "I don't know what this is," she admitted, "but I don't want it to end here." Luiza's breath hitched. She'd never been bold, but something in Anna's eyes urged her forward. She stepped closer, their faces inches apart, the world narrowing to the sound of their breathing. Then it happened, a kiss. Gentle at first, tentative like a question asked in the dark. Anna's hand found Luiza's cheek, and Luiza's fingers brushed Anna's neck, pulling her closer. It wasn't rushed or crude. It was a collision of longing and discovery, sealed under the theater's watchful arches. When they parted, their foreheads rested together, a shared silence speaking louder than words. That night marked the beginning. They exchanged numbers, tentative texts turning into late-night calls. Anna lived in a cramped apartment above a bakery, the scent of fresh bread seeping into her life, while Luiza shared a house with roommates, her room a sanctuary of books and sketches. They met again, first at a cafe, then a park, each encounter deepening the bond. Anna's boldness balanced Luiza's quiet strength, and soon, their stories intertwined. But love, even the purest kind, isn't without its storms. Anna's family noticed her distance, her evasiveness about her new friend. One evening, her mother confronted her, her voice sharp with worry. "Who is she, Anna? What are you hiding?" The words cut deep, and Anna fled to Luiza's place, tears staining her cheeks. Luiza held her, whispering reassurances, but the weight of rejection loomed. Luiza faced her own battle. Her conservative upbringing had taught her to bury feelings like these, and when a coworker made a snide remark about those types, she froze. That night, she confided in Anna, her voice breaking. "What if they're right? What if we're wrong?" Anna cupped her face, her gaze fierce. We're not wrong. We're real. The conviction in her voice steadied Luiza, and they clung to each other, a lifeline in the chaos. Their love grew amidst these trials. They found solace in small moments, cooking together in Anna's tiny kitchen, laughing over burnt pancakes, or sitting on Luiza's rooftop, watching stars. But the pressure mounted. Anna's father stopped speaking to her, and Luiza's landlord hinted at disapproval after a neighbor complained. The world seemed determined to pull them apart. One rainy afternoon, it came to a head. Anna's sister called, her voice cold. Dad's heart attack. It's your fault, Anna. Your choices. The phone slipped from Anna's hand, and she collapsed into Luiza's arms, sobbing. Luiza's own tears fell as she rocked her, rage and helplessness warring within her. They couldn't stay where they weren't wanted. With little more than their resolve, they packed. Anna's savings and Luiza's art commissions funded a move to a new town, a place where the air felt lighter, where the theater's shadow didn't follow. They found a small apartment, its walls bare but full of promise. The first night, they sat on the floor, surrounded by boxes, and Anna traced Luiza's palm with her finger. We made it, she whispered. Luiza kissed her, a promise sealed not just with passion but with survival. Life wasn't perfect. Money was tight, and the past lingered in their dreams, but they built something real. Anna took a job at a local gallery, her eye for beauty finding a home, while Luiza's sketches turned into commissions, her art a testament to their journey. They adopted a stray cat, naming her Ember for the fire that had kept them alive, and slowly, the apartment filled with laughter, love, and the scent of Anna's experiments in the kitchen. One evening, as they stood on their balcony, the city lights twinkling below, Anna turned to Luiza. I never thought I'd find this, she said, her voice thick with emotion. Luiza smiled, her hand finding Anna's. Neither did I, but here we are. They kissed again, under a sky that felt like theirs, a love forged in drama, tempered by struggle, and alive with hope. The months passed, and their new life began to take root. One crisp evening, as autumn painted the city in shades of amber, Luiza surprised Anna with a sketchbook filled with drawings of their journey. Every stolen glance, every tear, every laugh captured in pencil strokes. Anna's eyes welled up as she flipped through the pages, her fingers lingering on a sketch of their first kiss outside the theater. You see us, she whispered, pulling Luiza into a tender embrace. That night, they danced in their living room to a scratchy vinyl record, Ember weaving between their feet, her purrs blending with the music. The world outside still held its judgments, but within these walls, they were untouchable. Anna began teaching art classes, her passion igniting young minds, while Luiza's commissions grew, her work displayed in local galleries. One rainy afternoon, they stood hand in hand at an opening, proud and unapologetic, their love a quiet revolution. As they kissed under the gallery's soft lights, they knew they'd built more than a home. They'd carved a legacy of resilience and love.